I welcome to my views and news. Breaking news for you from the Amhara region, where Fano fighters have entered a major city. These minutes of fighting, heavy clashes ongoing between Fano fighters and Ethiopian military in one of the major cities of the Amhara region. Just 3 days ago, Fano fighters entered Debre Berhan. Debre Berhan is the capital city of North Shore zone of the Amhara region. Fano fighters launched a multi-pronged offensive on Debre Berhan. They attacked police station. They assassinated the North Shore zone peace and security in charge in Debre Berhan. Dassi to Addis Ababa road passing through Debre Berhan remained blocked for hours. And now Fano's entry in another main city in the Amhara region. By the way, on the 7th of January, Ethiopian Christians celebrate Christmas. So on Christmas Eve, this attack has been carried out by Fano fighters. What is the significance of this attack? What is happening in the city? Name of the city is Gondar. The last 2 hours, we have been receiving unconfirmed reports about Fano fighters' entry in Gondar city. Now we have received confirmation from multiple sources. The sources have confirmed that these minutes clashes are ongoing between Fano and military. Now, Fano fighters took control of Gondar, if you remember, a few months ago. Entire Gondar city came under their control. And we saw big protests in support of Fano in Gondar city. Gondar elders, Gondar youth took the streets to support Fano fighters. In some cases, the locals were unarmed, empty-handed, but they stood with Fano fighters. Military had to withdraw, and Fano fighters back then made Gondar airport dysfunctional. Gondar airport became unoperational, and Fano fighters took control of Ethiopian army's military camp in Azizo, which is in southern part of Gondar city, I think. Later, we saw that from northern side, from Volkai Sagade side, military launched a counter-offensive, and there was heavy fighting in Gondar city for several hours. People were killed on the streets of Gondar, including Fano and military members, and then Fano fighters had to retreat from Gondar. After that, Fano fighters entered Gondar once, I think. They attacked Gondar from southern side, from South Gondar. They entered Gondar city, and back then, I think they assassinated several pro-government elements in Gondar city. Now, this is third entry by Fano fighters in Gondar city. Now, several pro-Fano news outlets are reporting as if Gondar city has fallen to Fano fighters. They're reporting that Fano fighters are in control of Gondar city. By the way, whenever Fano fighters enter a major city, these news outlets start reporting as if the city has come under Fano control, as if all forces have withdrawn from the city, which is not true in most cases. Here, what I have learned is that it's not that Fano fighters are in full control of Gondar city. Rather, they have managed to breach Gondar security from multiple sides. And these minutes, heavy clashes are ongoing in several locations between Fano and military. And back then, and if you remember, when Fano fighters entered Gondar from South Gondar a few weeks ago, again, we saw that they entered Gondar city from multiple directions, and fighting went on for several hours. Fano fighters back then attacked military as well in South Gondar, but in Gondar city, later they retreated. This is similar type of attack, I think, though it's difficult to say from which direction Fano fighters have entered Gondar. Mainly, I think South Gondar is the stronghold of Fano fighters. Maybe they penetrated Gondar city from South Gondar, but recently we have seen fighting between North Gondar Fano and military as well. So it could be a dual two-pronged offensive on Gondar city, but it's not clear. So I'll update you in coming videos. So far, the only confirmation is that Fano fighters these minutes are operating in Gondar city. What will they do there? What they did in Debre Berhan, what they did in Debre Marcos, what they did in Gondar last time. They will identify pro government people. If you remember, Skandar, Zabine Kasi, all Fano commanders in their speeches have been telling their fighters that their main job is to identify those who are working for government and kill them. And that is what foreign fighters do. That whenever they enter big cities, before their entry, they make preparations. They have all the names, all the lists, and they know about the people who are supporting the government. They know about the location too, and then they enter town cities and assassinate those people. Skandar was conveyed a similar message to Fano fighters when he spoke to Fano fighters in Shoa. I think the video was released today, but he entered Shoa a few days ago. Again, we could see civilian killings in Gondar City. This is part of Fano's strategy, by the way. Assassination is part of Fano's military strategy. Assassination of those who are proactively supporting military operation against Fano, those who are working as spies for Fano, for military, those in the government who are actively supporting military in the operation against Fano. So such elements are identified in advance. Fano fighters have sleeper cells in almost all the major cities of the Amhara region. They receive information about what is happening in these cities. And whenever they find the opportunity, they enter town cities and they assassinate those who they know are pro-government. So we could see civilian killings in Gondar firstly. Secondly, when the fighters from Fano groups enter town cities, they attack police stations. They attack prisons. They know in advance about the presence of their comrades in prison centers, in police stations. And they target those police stations mainly where their comrades are in prison and they free them. And sometimes they free other prisoners too. Like in Dangala, we saw that Fano fighters freed their comrades and then they freed the Tigrinya speaking ENDF members too. Tigrinya speaking ENDF members then were sent safely to Tigray. And those Tigrinya speaking ENDF members were all praised for Fano fighters because Fano fighters did not demand any ransom for the release. It was a gesture of goodwill from Fano for Tigray people, TPLF, TDF. So same could happen here. Attacks on police stations, attacks on Ethiopian National Defense Force, attacks on police militia, and obviously Fano fighters, whenever they enter cities, they try to collect supplies, they need weapons. They've been carrying out several attacks in the last 72 hours on police stations, on arms depots. So here too, we could see attacks by Fano fighters to capture weapons and logistics, other supplies which they need to survive. So this is what is going to happen. Will Fano fighters remain positioned in Gondar? No. This is not their strategy. They don't want to remain deployed in major cities. They know they cannot defend major cities because ENDF, in most cases, when Fano fighters enter big cities, ENDF withdraws, maybe to avoid urban combat or to regroup itself. And then ENDF receives reinforcements and ENDF members launch counteroffensives. Fano fighters retreat. Why? Because Fano fighters cannot hold on to big cities. They tried, by the way. In the earlier phase of this conflict, earlier this year, they tried to hold on to big cities. They could not. And they were then endangering the lives of civilians too. Civilians support them. So that is why they decided to fight their war outside cities, but still they're using cities. They attack militant cities. So cities have become battlefields. But Fano fighters are not interested in holding on to town cities. This is this main part of Fano military strategy. Secondly, assassinations. Thirdly, ambush. Three main points, three main parts of Fano military strategy: assassination, ambush, and sudden attacks in town cities. That is how Fano fighters have been able to maintain their capabilities, which are largely intact. Araga Kabbede, Tomasgan Terone, General Ababu Tadase have been claiming as if Amhara region is back to normal, but this is normalcy. Attack in Debre Berhan 3 days ago, attack in Gondar happening now, Christmas celebrated in coming hours. I think churches are already starting services from tonight. So it's a big night for Ethiopians, big day tomorrow for Ethiopian Christians. And Fano fighters are in Gondar City. I'll be incoming videos about the nature of attack, the gravity of situation, and how much area in Gondar is under a Fano control. Thank you for watching.